How did your life that had the good news, bad news in a startup contrast or integrate with your experience in kind of a more corporate entity like TELUS? There must have been a huge difference there.
Oh yeah. So I mean, as a startup, when you're growing, even the most dangerous time was when we were growing fast because you had to hire people. You had to, at that point in the Alberta program, we actually had to buy all the hardware for the clinics, and then we get paid back afterwards, right? Like it was this crazy thing. So everything could be going well, but you might not have cash in the bank. So you kind of constantly felt the sort of Damocles above your head. Like it was, you're constantly kind of waiting for something that could take you out.
Terrifying.
It was terrifying. So we lived and breathed as a small company, a startup, you live and breathe cash flow. And so the weirdest part of going into a company like TELUS is it's like cash doesn't exist, right? Like it just, there's a different finance department and there's seemingly infinite cash for things. There's different things that happen in big companies and there's different priorities and there's things that are completely outside and arbitrary to your business that get imposed upon you. And that was, I think, the hard part about being in a bigger company is when there's other things going on, there's kind of edicts that come down around spending or edicts that come down around hiring that have nothing to do with your business and make no sense to your business. And so, but you kind of have to roll with it. So that was really different, right? And I never particularly saw myself as a corporate person. I mean, the only real employer I've had is TELUS, right? I've been self-employed all the way through and all the way since. So, I have nothing else to judge them by other than, there was a lot of process that didn't always make sense to the business unit that you had to navigate with. But the people there were first class and I mean, I was treated incredibly well by everybody. So I have nothing, but positive memories of doing that. And the other thing with a startup that, I joke that startups are like, it's like flying a plane, or like launching. So, at first you're on the runway and, you're trying to get the thing moving, right? So, the first bit of momentum down the runway, you get all excited about, right? And then the first moment that your wheels take off an inch off the ground, you're excited about. And then you're flying a little bit, but you got to clear the barn at the end of the runway. And you clear that. And then there's a mountain that you got to clear. And, and then you're flying along and there's turbulence and it's like, oh my God, are we going to crash this thing? And eventually, there's mountains that you got to avoid. But at a certain point, you got to land the plane, right? Because you have investors that came on and, we've been at it for a while, but, we sold in 2012 and started the company in 1999. So, I had investors that were with me for, 12 years, right? And so, so you got to land the plane and in a way, when we sold, everyone got a job. So everybody there's no layoffs with our sale. All of our investors got at least a 4x return. So, that was the minimum. So everybody did well from a financial perspective. And we sold it to a group that wanted to build it. Right. And so it was a real, it was a real win to do that and kind of close that chapter and then start a new one.